Yo Gotti took over the Memphis rap scene and became a star. But when he tried to level up and start his own label, nobody knew how bad it was gonna get. From his artists getting into shootouts to people dying at concerts, this is the wild story of CMG. Yo Gotti's been in the rap game since he was 14 years old. He didn't blow up overnight though, and he had to stay on the grind for years before his name started buzzing. When he was a teenager, he stayed up all night hustling in the streets and was working on his rap skills at the same time. Back in the day, Gotti would drive all over Memphis handing out mixtapes and performing at clubs. He had to hustle hard to get to the top, but eventually all the hard work paid off and he started becoming one of the most popular rappers in the South. Gotti turned himself into a star, but it was Birdman and Slim from Cash Money Records who really inspired Yo Gotti to take everything to another level. Back when Lil Wayne was about to drop the Carter, Birdman flew Gotti out to his mansion in New Orleans and let him hear the album before anyone else. When Gotti saw how Birdman had 15 cars parked outside his mansion and was really living the life he rapped about, Gotti knew he could get there too. Gotti never signed with Cash Money, but Birdman showed him how to move in the industry and hired Gotti to help find new artists for Cash Money to sign. Then in 2011, Gotti was with Birdman during Wayne's tour. By that time, Lil Wayne was the hottest rapper in the world, and Gotti told Billboard he could tell how much the success meant to Birdman and said he had this look on his face like, niggas ain't fucking with us. We done this shit. I was amazed by that. I wanted that. So the next year, Gotti made his own label after he signed a massive deal with Epic Records. He called it Cocaine Music Group back then, but another star in the game convinced Gotti to change the name. After Gotti broke the news about Cocaine Music Group, 50 Cent hit him up and said he should change it because they're going to be scared of that. Yo Gotti knew 50 Cent was probably right, so he started calling the label Collective Music Group instead. Gotti wanted to start his own label and take over the rap game, but 3 years went by and he still hadn't signed any rappers. Around the same time Yo Gotti was trying to launch CMG, Young Dolph was building up a crazy buzz in Memphis. He had been dropping music since 2008, and just like Gotti, he had to stay on the grind to make it work. Dolph was all about being independent and started his own Paper Route Empire label back in 2010. And since he didn't have a deal with anyone, he could run his own career without listening to anyone else. Dolph came up in the streets and was in the trenches for a long time before he got in the booth. According to some sources, Dolph even used to be the plug for Yo Gotti's brother. So when Dolph started popping off in the industry, it made sense for Gotti to reach out and try to sign him. Gotti wanted Young Dolph to be his first artist on the CMG label, but by that point, Dolph had already invested too much money and time into his own career to start riding someone else's wave. Dolph told Sway that if he signed with Gotti, then everyone would say he was only popping because of Gotti.
Say Gotti wanted me to do man, come on bro, let's do CMG Paper Route. It's cool, I'm knocking for that. If I was him, I would have came to me like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But only thing was going to happen behind it was people like, oh, he popped off because of Gotti. You feel what I'm saying? Which I can't do that because I got too much of my own time and money invested in it.
So he wanted to just make his own lane and stay independent. Sway said that Gotti will respect the move because he handled his own career the same way and did it all by himself.
And I know Gotti respect that because he did the same thing.
But that's not how it all went down. After Young Dolph turned down the offer, Yo Gotti went a different direction and signed another Memphis rapper named Black Youngster. Black Youngster was on the come up after his track Heavy popped off. And one day he walked up to where Gotti was shooting a music video and started blasting his own music. Gotti liked how Black Youngster was moving and knew he had some buzz on his name. So he officially signed Black Youngster to CMG in 2015. CMG was just getting started, but there was drama from the jump and Black Youngster almost ended up in prison because of Yo Gotti's beef with Young Dolph. Everyone thought Dolph and Gotti were still cool after Dolph turned the deal down, but that all changed in 2016. Dolph dropped his debut album, King of Memphis, that year, and Gotti was pressed about the title because Yo Gotti had been calling himself the King of Memphis for years. Apparently, there was already some tension going down behind the scenes, and Dolph hopped on Twitter and dissed Yo Gotti when he tweeted, "Bro went from being my #1 fan and wanting to sign me to being my biggest hater. #facts." Gotti didn't respond, but Black Youngster jumped in the beef and said he was gonna slap Dolph the next time he saw him.
Dolph, you a bitch. You a soft ass nigga. You nice ass nigga. If you got a problem, nigga, say you got a problem. Shake ass, bitch ass nigga. Ain't no motherfucking king of Memphis. Ain't king of South Memphis. He ain't from the city.
So Dolph clapped back and dissed Yo Gotti for sending Black Youngster at him instead of handling the situation himself.
I've been spraying your bitch ass for years, nigga, and the whole city know that. Ho Gotti, you was a bitch ass nigga. I just got back to the city. They say you trying to put charges on me and put the police on me. You send your little nigga out to do all your talking.
The beef kept heating up after that, and Black Youngster allegedly tried to kill Dolph in North Carolina. Someone pulled up while Dolph was on tour and sprayed 100 rounds into his whip, but luckily nobody was hit. Black Youngsta and 2 of his homies ended up getting booked over the situation, but the charges were later dropped because the cops didn't have enough evidence. Black Youngsta skated on the case, but he claimed Dolph was snitching on the track Bulletproof when he raps, "If you got love for me, can you at Young Dolph and tell him don't show up?" I'm just saying, homie, why you give them people statements? Why you rap about that shit so your album will go crazy? Niggas do anything for the album sales. Fuck everybody that say that I'll fail. They say when I die, I'ma go to hell. You lost your bet if you bet that I'll tell. The beef cooled off for a while, but then in November 2021, Young Dolph was shot and killed in Memphis. There's nothing tying Black Youngsta to the shooting, but a few weeks after Dolph's murder, Black Youngsta allegedly sent more shots on the track I'm Assuming and raps. All that throwing them slick shots on the gram, that's how you end up dead. And I don't got love for no pussy nigga. I want off with his head. And I don't give no fuck about what you rap. You know my ops, they bled. I done bust out shots for other niggas cause other niggas was scared. Then a video came out where Black Youngsta was rapping his Dolph diss track, Shake Some, at a show in Texas. A lot of people were mad that he was still dissing Dolph after he died. And rumors started flying that Gotti had dropped Black Youngsta from the label because of all the drama. A lot of people already thought Gotti was involved with Dolph's death. And Black Youngsta moving like that just made him even more suspicious. Gotti called the rumors cap though and said, "Lil bro a boss, he can't be dropped. #CMG, #Heavy Camp." Black Youngsta wasn't dropped from the label, but his career fell off like crazy. Back in the day, he was racking up hundreds of millions of streams and getting bigger every time he dropped a project. He even started his own label called Heavy Camp under CMG, but none of his artists are making any noise in the industry. And on the last few projects Black Youngsta dropped, most of the tracks didn't even break 50K streams. Black Youngsta sparked a lot of drama in his career, and he allegedly helped set up another rapper who was supposed to sign with CMG. Shy Glizzy isn't from Memphis, but back in 2015, he was rocking with Yo Gotti, and rumors were flying that he was going to be the next rapper to sign with CMG. Shy Glizzy had been in the game for a few years and was getting a lot of shine even though he was independent. And in 2013, he even had Gotti on his mixtape, Law 2. Shy Glizzy was also working with stars like Young Thug, A$AP Rocky, and 2 Chainz. And in 2015, XXL put him on their freshman class list. He was blowing up like crazy, and Yo Gotti allegedly really wanted to sign him as an artist. Shy Glizzy started spending a lot of time in Memphis, and that's how he ended up getting robbed by the people who were supposed to be rocking with him. There are a lot of rumors about how it all went down, but this is the story according to Shy Glizzy and some other sources. Yo Gotti allegedly made Shy Glizzy an offer to sign with CMG, but Shy Glizzy turned Gotti down just like Young Dolph did. Shy was still cool with Gotti and the rest of the CMG camp though. And in December 2015, Shy Glizzy had a show at Dream nightclub in Memphis. According to reports, he was with some connections he made in Memphis through Gotti and Black Youngsta, and they were supposed to hold him down while he was in the city. But after the show, Shy ended up getting into a fight with the dude and his chain fell off and hit the floor. Someone snatched the chain from the ground, and then some dudes posted a video showing it off and dissing Shy Glizzy. After the chain was stolen, Black Youngsta posted a video where he was allegedly paying the dudes who took it $10K to get the chain back for Shy Glizzy. Everyone thought Black Youngsta was helping Shy out, but according to Shy, that's not how it went down.
He approached me, I pushed him, we got into a little scuffle. My shit came off, but the niggas that was telling me to top in, them the niggas that had the motherfucking chain the whole time. So like, it's like, why the fuck would I, you know what I'm saying, top in with some niggas that, you know what I'm saying, on some scheme and shit like this. So the whole play was put together.
Shy also said that Black Youngsta didn't pay anyone for the chain, and if Black Youngsta really wanted to help him out, he wouldn't have made a video about the situation. Shy Glizzy said they were supposed to be homies, but he wasn't rocking with how everything went down. He said he was so tight with Gotti, it was to the point he would have done anything for him. But after the chain situation, he was saying, fuck you niggas.
I fucked with Gotti to where it's the point I would have done anything for him. Anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that shit kind of was, that shit made me look at the whole game different. I started moving, fuck, you know, it been fuck these niggas, but after that, it's like, man, fuck you niggas.
A lot of people were dissing Gotti and Black Youngsta over the whole Shy Glizzy thing, but fans thought he made the perfect move when he signed his next artist to CMG. Moneybagg Yo came up in the streets of Memphis just like Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta, so it seemed like he was a perfect fit for the label. Moneybagg Yo was getting a lot of buzz in Memphis after grinding it out for a few years, and in 2016, he ended up signing with CMG. Some fans were surprised though, cause Moneybagg Yo was cool with Young Dolph and had linked up with him in the studio. But it gets way deeper than that. Moneybagg is from the south side of Memphis and Gotti's from the north. The two sides of the city have had major issues for years, so a lot of people were shocked that Moneybagg started rocking with dudes from the north. Moneybagg was also tight with another rapper from the south named OG Boo Dirty, who got into a wild situation with Gotti back in the day that ended with someone getting killed. Back in 2010, OG Boo Dirty and Yo Gotti were arguing outside of a club in Memphis, and someone tried to get in between them to break it up. OG Boo Dirty allegedly punched the dude who got in the middle, and that's when everything popped off for real. Shots started going off, and 6 people ended up getting hit. Yo Gotti and OG Boo Dirty both got booked for starting the riot, but all the charges were later dropped. One of the people who got shot at the nightclub died, and OG Boo Dirty allegedly pulled the trigger, but he skated on the whole case and dropped a diss track aimed at Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti also had issues with OG Boo Dirty's brother, Stupid Duke, but Moneybagg was cool with him back in the day too. That all changed when Moneybagg signed with CMG though, and a lot of people in the South dissed Moneybagg for switching sides. Moneybagg Yo is still with CMG, but rumors say he's been trying to get off the label ever since Dolph died. Moneybagg started his own label, Bread Gang, and has been trying to level up his career, and some people think he's trying to get away from all the drama that CMG has going on. But Moneybagg's own label lost an artist back in 2022 when Big Newski was shot and killed in Memphis. Moneybagg is the one who convinced Big Newski to hop in the booth and get out of the streets, but unfortunately, Big Newski still got caught up in some drama and ended up dead. Big Newski's cousin is another Memphis rapper named Big 30, and he signed to Moneybagg's label too. A lot of fans thought he was on CMG, but Big 30 hopped on social media and made sure everyone knew he wasn't with the label and just had a deal with Moneybagg Yo.
I am not CMG. CMG, Yo got it, they're just the family. I'm not CMG, I'm endless, man. Endless for life, endless breakdown, man. It's all I am.
If Moneybagg Yo leaves, it'll be a huge loss for CMG. But this next rapper hasn't dropped anything with the label in years. In 2018, Blockboy JB was one of the hottest rappers in the game. He came up in North Memphis and started dropping music in 2012. Around 2018 is when everything really changed for him. Blockboy dropped the track Shoot, and the dance he made to go with the track went viral and even ended up in Fortnite. Then he kept the momentum up with the track Rover and got even more buzz when 21 Savage hopped on the remix. Blockboy was on his way up, but nobody had any idea how crazy his next hit was gonna be. He linked up with Drake for the track Look Alive and almost hit 1 billion streams on Spotify. Rumors were flying that Blockboy was gonna sign with Drake's OVO label after they made the track, but the deal never worked out. After that, Blockboy fell off for a few years. And then in 2022, news broke out of nowhere that he was signing with Yo Gotti at CMG. Fans thought the move might help Blockboy get his career popping again, but he only dropped one project on the label and hasn't been heard from since. CMG even put out a tape in 2023 with every artist on the label, but Blockboy wasn't featured on any of the tracks. It's not clear what he's trying to do with his career right now, but obviously Yo Gotti wasn't able to help him get his momentum back up. Gotti wasn't having a lot of success with his artists from Memphis, but when he signed a rapper from Detroit, nobody expected how bad the situation was gonna get. 42 Doug came up in Detroit, but Yo Gotti was a massive influence on him in the rap game. 42 Doug linked up with Lil Baby and got some buzz on his name, and that's how he ended up signing to Lil Baby's 4PF label and CMG at the same time. 42 Doug started popping off for tracks like Grace and We Paid, but then the news came out that he was running from the cops. 42 Doug had a felony conviction back in the day and wasn't able to be around guns. But in 2019, the cops spotted him shooting at a shooting range in Atlanta. Then a few months later, the cops tried to pull him over after 42 Doug ran a stop sign, but he did the race and spent 2 months on the run. They caught him in August 2020 and hit him with another felony charge for fleeing the police, and Doug was sentenced to 6 months in a prison camp. The judge let him out on bond, but 42 Doug decided to do the race again and ran away. While he was on the run, 42 Doug tried to file a court claim that said he was a sovereign citizen and couldn't be arrested by the feds. But a month later, they caught up to him again and he ended up behind bars. While he was locked up, 42 Doug hopped on Instagram and said that the prison wasn't even giving him hot water to heat his food up and that he had to use water from the shower just to eat. Yo Gotti jumped in to help out and said he'd pay $2 million to any lawyer that could get 42 Doug out early. Yo Gotti stayed behind his artist, and 42 Doug ended up coming home in 2023. But then he got into some industry drama with one of the biggest rappers in the world. In January 2024, Wack 100 went on No Jumper and said that Offset and 42 Doug were shooting dice at the Quality Control record studio and the situation went left.
Offset walks right up, And Doug's walking away from him, grabs his left pocket. There's money bulging out of it. He didn't take the money out of his pocket, right? I don't know if he was attempting to take it or he was just trying to turn him around or what it was. Nevertheless, Doug ends up turning around. When he turned around, Offset fired.
In the face.
Right in the face.
Photo Doug called cap on the situation, but then Wack leaked some alleged DMs with Offset, where Offset confirmed the story and said that Photo Doug was lying. It's not clear what really went down that night, but this next artist Gotti signed made headlines after 3 people were killed at her concert. Glorilla came up in Memphis and has been rapping since she was a teenager. Back in 2022, she went viral on TikTok with the track F&M. And just a couple months later, Yo Gotti signed her to CMG and gave her $500K in cash to celebrate. Glorilla was on the way up and working with some huge artists like Cardi B and Lil Durk. But in March 2023, her career took a tragic turn. Glorilla was performing at a show in Rochester, New York, and after her set ended, people thought they were hearing gunshots. It's not clear what the noise really was, but everyone panicked and started running for the doors. It was a crazy situation all around, and during all the chaos, 3 people were tragically killed. After it happened, rumors started flying that Glorilla was being sued and that Yo Gotti was dropping her from CMG to get away from all the drama. It's not clear if anyone's actually gonna sue her, but Glorilla is still on CMG, and it doesn't look like Gotti actually wants to get rid of her. Her career isn't dead, but the tragedy at the concert definitely slowed her down right when Glorilla was about to take over. Gotti isn't just dealing with drama from the rappers he signed though. Back in 2015, a rapper named Plain James popped off with the track Water Wet. He went out to North Carolina and performed the track while Yo Gotti was there. And a few weeks later, Gotti reached out and said he wanted to fly Plain James out to Miami for a meeting. Plain James got to Miami and played a bunch of his music for Gotti. And he said Gotti was really wanting to sign him to CMG. He signed the contract and it should have been the biggest win of his career, but then everything went left for Plain James. One of his friends called Plain James out for being bisexual, and Plain James said that the vice president of CMG called him and said, "Well, we don't really fuck with nobody like that." After that, Plain James said he was stuck in a contract with CMG, but they wouldn't even pick up the phone and talk to him anymore. And since he still had a deal with Yo Gotti, Plain James couldn't sign with anyone else and drop new music. Gotti got a lot of hate online when Plain James did an interview with DJ Booth about the situation, but it's not clear how everything shook out in the end. Yo Gotti obviously realized that he needed help running CMG, because in December 2023, he went back to school at UCLA to study management. It probably won't help him sign rappers who will stay out of trouble long enough to bring some money into the label though.